Let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, here we go. Episode 66 of the Hibs Ramble. And as you can see by Liam's face, he's not overly pleased to be here.
I'm fed up, Sean.
Recording directly after what was a painful night in Paisley. But we're going to take ourselves back an hour and a half, or just maybe a wee bit more than that, couple of hours. And we're going to review the game very, very quickly and then look forward to, or try to look forward to the weekend, Liam. Okay? You happy with that? How you doing? You all right, apart from being deflated?
I tell you what, mate, right? See, in my perfectly legal stream, it kept buffering and buffering and buffering. I've seen videos of all the goals, but the only goal that I actually saw live was St Mirren's second equaliser right at the end. And I tell you what, I'm just fucking fed up. I'm fed up.
What was your initial take on the team? I was quite surprised Levitt was maybe still in there, albeit he done quite well to an extent at the weekend. Not surprised at all to see Rory Whittaker in there get his first start, which is great. Your best mate, Josh Campbell, back in from out the cold. Jair still in there. Miller dropped out. What was your overall thoughts of the team? Because I wasn't overly fussed with it, personally, based on what happened at the weekend and the amount of games that we've had recently. And everyone online seemed to think the complete opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too surprised at the personnel selected in the team. I think I was maybe a little bit surprised that Dylan Levitt was still there, but I felt he played all right on Saturday, and I think he also did quite well again tonight. So it's maybe merited. I mean, the boy needs minutes in the legs. It's clear that he's a player. So I mean, the more minutes we can get him, the better. For the rest of the team, to be honest, like I was expecting a lot of change, and a lot of change is what we got. So no, I was chuffed for that. I was happy to see Josh back in the starting 11. I've spoken at length throughout the whole last season about how much I love Josh Campbell. So no, I was chuffed to see him back in. But no, I felt like that team was good enough to go out there and get the 3 points in Paisley tonight.
Yeah, and at times we did look justified of being able to get those 3 points. I feel like the performance at times certainly justified us maybe taking away the 3 points. We started relatively strong to an extent. Obviously, we took the lead within 12 minutes. Lovely assist from Alex Gogic, clearly forgetting that he no longer plays for the Edinburgh Highbees. Obviously breaks to Dylan Venti. Breaks to Dylan Venti, plays it through to Josh Campbell, takes the goal really well. First time, I think, as well. Takes it first time. Obviously, you didn't see it live, but you saw many replays. Not only was, for me, how I thought that goal was really important to get an early goal and kind of to set the tempo of the match and not allow the game to maybe put it into nothing and just kind of I don't know, and then we were maybe going to lose our way in the match. That was my concern pre-match. So I was really happy that we managed to get a relatively early goal. What was your thoughts on kind of the play before the game, and not before the goal and the goal itself?
I think the goal's it's a really nice finish. It's a striker's finish from Campbell. It's refreshing to see that he's just back into the team, into the starting lineup, and he's not really lost any of his touch, even though that he's not really been playing an awful lot under Montgomery. So it was good to see him back on the score sheet again. Hopefully that moves him up the pecking order slightly. Because I honestly didn't think that there was going to be a space for Josh Campbell in a Nick Montgomery Hibs side, which I was pretty gutted at. I didn't really want to admit it, but I did say that I don't think that there was a space for him, like in the way that he wants to play. But maybe that'll help Monty change his mind a wee bit. Felt like the play leading up to the goal has kind of been similar to what we've been seeing really the past few weeks, but we've just never really capitalised on early pressure. So a bit of a nice change to capitalise for once and manage to get that early goal, because I think that settles us. I mean, it settles us. I know that St Mirren came back and they were, they put like a lot of pressure on and our defensive third, but I don't think they did an awful lot with the ball. So it was nice to see our pressure paying off early on, which is obviously what Monty wants to see, that we haven't seen really since he came in.
Yeah, we certainly did grow into the match, and I think, like you said, getting that early goal kind of set the tempo for us as well, and just kind of justified the way that we're trying to play as well. You mentioned just quickly on a striker's finish for Josh Campbell. I noticed a lot in the first half that he was kind of sitting up there with Dylan Vente. However, as I mentioned the other night when we recorded about the Aberdeen game, I was frustrated that Vente was having to drop a lot deeper. So I didn't really expect a change of shape or anything like that. I kind of just expected Josh Campbell to play that kind of like false nine, deeper striker role. And at times, he certainly looked like he was, flirting with that kind of role, but then also dropping in and helping the midfield, which is probably Josh's best position. I don't know if you kind of saw that, unfold in the first half with him being so far up as well.
Yeah, I think maybe Monty's had a look at the game on Saturday and thought, we're not creating anything up top with Dylan coming so deep. So I felt like everyone kind of took a different step, because I felt like Dylan Levitt was playing really, really, really deep, almost in between both the centre halves at times. Then you had Josh, who was a little bit further forward, maybe in like that 8 role, and Dylan kind of in the 10 and 9 hybrid role. So listen, it's something I think that we're probably going to need to get used to, watching the strikers come deep and maybe kind of interchanging with the players who are holding in midfield. But listen, it's just one of those things that we're going to need to put up with Nick Montgomery. I've said that badly, not put up with. I'm frustrated. I'm saying things I don't mean. Sorry, Nick, if you're listening.
Right, well, we'll get right into what I assumed was going to be the main talking point from the match. But then obviously we took the lead again. And then obviously threw that away once again. Nick Montgomery is clearly the GOAT at getting 2 all draws. So hopefully he can get rid of that soon, and hopefully he can cut that right out. Main talking point for the whole match, for me anyway, was their penalty award. Now, my 2 pence on it is Jordan Abita is extremely stupid to do that.
Yeah.
And bear with me here. Let me cook. He is extremely stupid to do it in the first place and give the officials the opportunity to either make that decision in play or the opportunity for it to go to VAR. What my issue is with it is the St Mirren attacker is basically trying to get Marshall to ride him by backing into him and taking him into his own goal. So for me, there's a foul on Marshall. And then there's maybe 2 other fouls on Hibs players at the front post. Now,
Yeah.
the ball is going nowhere near Jordan Abita or that area of the pitch where him and the St Mirren player were running into. And it doesn't necessarily make it as far as a foul in my eyes in comparison to the other 2 or 3 fouls that are on Hibs players. So my issue is, at what point, and this isn't necessarily a question, it's just more of a frustration, and then I'll get your overall riding thoughts on it. My frustration is, at what point does it then become a foul on the goalkeeper if the ball isn't coming in that direction, but it's also deemed a foul by Abita for what I would say is something less, where the ball also isn't going in that direction. And at that point, by the time Abita makes that mistake, he pulling on the jersey and giving them the opportunity, there's already been another 2 fouls in the box by the time the ball gets to the front post. So the referee, regardless of whether it's through VAR or not, should be able to understand that the ball isn't getting to that area. If there was no other fouls in the box, I wouldn't necessarily have this much of a grievance with it. but there's 2 or 3 other fouls in our favour. So at what point, and all those other fouls are closer to where the ball ends up, so why are they not getting taken into consideration? Well, maybe they are, but they're just overriding it by the fact that it's an attacking, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and giving the benefit of the doubt to the attacker, and that it's an instance on the attacker in the attacking box. So that is my frustration on the penalty decision. Jordan Obita, yes, at fault for giving them the decision, but it shouldn't even make it that far. And other potential fouls in the box should also get taken into consideration.
But then, like, where do you draw the line? Like, so how can then one foul take priority over another foul? And I do agree with you that it is a penalty. I mean, Jordan Obita's got a handful of shirt.
But then if there's multiple fouls in the box, then surely at that point the official should be looking at where the balls went rather than where the offence is taking place. Do you know what I mean?
I think so as well. But I mean, clearly that's not really been what the referee's been told. So I don't know, mate.
So yeah, so they obviously get the penalty, take it, dispatch it. Don't know about you, I'm never really that confident about Davy Marshall saving penalties, albeit
apart from
certainly
Belgrade,
known for that, and known for that in a Scotland shirt. Maybe he should start wearing a Scotland shirt under his Hibs shirt. Seems to perform better when he was playing for Scotland. I want to get your thoughts on Rory Whittaker's performance, and just maybe your thought on Jair's performance as well, just because of the amount of stick that he seems to continually get, and from myself as well. I'll take that on board. I feel like Jair had a very, by his standards, good performance this evening. And the reason why I want to get your opinion on Rory Whittaker's performance from this evening is, I don't know if I'm being overly harsh, and I'm going to come on to Joe Neal's goal in a second, and I'm getting maybe a little bit ahead of myself here. Lewis Miller comes on for Rory, and I feel like all Lewis done was either give the ball away or give fouls away, and just put us under pressure by being a little bit too dominant in the air, or maybe too dominant on opponents. And then I know it's not directly, and like I said, I'm getting ahead of myself here, and I'll come back to that in a second. But I just feel like I felt weirdly safer with Rory on the pitch, because as the game went on, his performance grew and his confidence grew, and I feel like 16-year-old right back as well, which is his natural position, which I was really happy to see. Yes, he got caught out a couple of times and gave a couple of fouls away and stuff, but I don't know what it was. I just had this gut-wrenching feeling when Lewis Miller came on that something was going to go wrong, because he just continually gave fouls away by being too dominant.
Yeah, it's maybe your subconscious kicking in from Saturday. But no, I thought Rory Whittaker played really quite well. I mean, had to keep reminding myself throughout the game that he is only 16, because he doesn't play like a 16-year-old. And on a pitch full of grown men, he's got a lot of growing to do at 16. So no, I thought he played well. I think it's good for him to have that amount of minutes under his belt. How many did he get? Maybe about 80 minutes or something? 85. Whittaker, yeah.
This evening he came off at 66.
He came off at 66, did he?
67, yeah, just literally a minute before we scored.
All right, fair enough. I'm saying he got 80 minutes. What fucking planet am I on? But no, I thought he played well. Like you said, I think he grew into the game. And it's clear to see that the boy's got potential. He's a half decent young player, and that's what we're looking for, coming through the academy. But Jair, I think, had another good game, looking a wee bit more confident at taking a man on down the wing, and he had a little bit of joy in the second half with it. Don't think the first half he was incredible, but second half I thought he was better, and he's definitely now, he's given us an option. He's given Nick Montgomery an option to, who's he going to play out wide? Is it going to be Boyle and Ewan, or Boyle and Jair, or so?
Good for thought.
It's definitely a good problem to have. I think that you can clearly see that Jair has been buoyed in confidence by Nick Montgomery coming in and actually playing him. It's mental to see what a manager has shown a little bit of faith in you can do. So I think everyone's kind of chuffed with the way that Jair's performing at the moment.
Yeah, that's probably what's allowed Rocket to take on his performance to another level, just having
Yeah.
that belief and consistently, playing more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take it back a little bit. Obviously, Lewis Miller comes on, then we score straight away. So and he was involved in the play. I would probably put it down as an ideal goal for Monty's shape and philosophy and passages of play and everything that we probably work on at training. Obviously, starting at the back, at one point it was out with a beater, and then it comes across the back line, then goes out to Miller, passing to Eliuan, who again I felt could have maybe been involved a little bit more, but he does have that ability to do magical things at magical times when we need it.
Exactly.
And he's obviously done that twist. Turned the St Mirren player inside out, played it to Dylan Venti. Dylan Venti takes it to the byline, which I'm a massive, massive fan of byline crosses getting cut back. Wonder if it didn't go in, if there wasn't like Joe Newell there for our goal, I wonder if there would have been a penalty because there was a challenge made on a Hibs player at the front post. But
I think if Joe Newell wasn't there, Jair scores it.
aye. So thankfully we didn't need to rely on VAR doing us favours because it's certainly not been doing us that in recent games. Joe Newell taps it in and there's celebrations and limbs as if it's a 30-yarder, which I'm all here for. Listen, I'm happy for Joe Newell. It's just unfortunate we weren't able to see the game out. Good team goal, playing out for the back, the turn, the cutback, the goal. But the best part for me was Jair celebrating before it even went in. What was your take on the goal?
Again, it's not one that I saw live because my stream was fucking buffering, so I had to rely on people sending videos into the group chat and watching it on Twitter and stuff. So, a good goal, like you said, a good team goal. Probably one that Monty would put in his portfolio to showcase the way that he likes to play the game. And yeah, I think it was kind of the way that we built up reminded me a little bit how we played on Saturday and how we never got any joy from doing that on Saturday, but we got some joy from it tonight. So you can see that there's a progression coming there, and I mean it's difficult to look at positives right now, just 5 minutes after the game's finished, and think, oh, there's maybe positives to take here, but I think that goal was definitely one of them.
Yeah. And just to kind of not necessarily wrap up on the game because the bulk of our questions will be around tonight's match, but it then leads us on to the game coming to a close. And I don't know about you, I mean, I've already alluded to it. I had a little bit of fear as the game went on, just due to the nature of some of the challenges that we were put in and the way that we were set up in the transition when we lost the ball. We just seemed very similar to what you said the other night at 6s and 7s. Very, very, the best probably way to put it is probably 6s and 7s actually. I do feel like we were all over the place in the transition, and they then go on to score their second goal. But before that, we'd made a couple of changes. Jago comes on for Levitt, which I understand, and I'm pretty sure you understand, try to see the game out. Dylan Levitt's played a lot, and we've asked a lot from him in the last week. And Josh Landers comes on for Dylan Venti. And this is no slight of Josh because he worked his arse off when he came on. I'm just wondering, was that maybe the right sub? I mean, in hindsight, it goes to 2-2, and for me, just before this first shot is taken for the second goal, it doesn't look like Josh is doing enough to put pressure on the St Mirren attacker. I'm assuming Martin Boyle didn't want to get risked due to the injury.
Yeah.
We didn't put Rudy on instead. We've obviously put Josh on and asked him to obviously run his arse off and add a little bit of pressure. How did you see those subs? Did you agree with them or?
Jago, yeah. Landers, I didn't know. I think it's a lot to ask of a player so young to come on at that point in the game we're holding on and get up to the pace of the game because it was frantic. It was really frantic. I mean, St Mirren were throwing everything at it. We were trying then to get a third, so it was it's a mental game to bring anyone on who's only played once in a Hibs shirt, for the first team. So I thought maybe throwing them at the deep end, it's maybe not really that fair, but you look at the rest of the bench and what else are you going to do? Like you said, are you going to risk Martin Boyle when the game is that intense? Probably not. But then why change the striker? I don't get it. I mean, I think Monty will have his reasons here and there to tell us why he made the changes that he made. But at the end of the day, they're done now, and it seems to be a bit of a recurring theme that he is kind of bamboozling us always with subs. But listen, it's nice to see. It's nice to see him showing faith in the young boys, and that's what I can
It's
take
not
from
worked
it.
out. Yeah, the second goal itself is another poor goal
It's a shambles,
to
really, isn't it?
concede. It touches on what I said, not necessarily over the transition, but just about being all over the place and individual errors. Sorry, right, left, and centre, both leading up to the goal.
There's an individual
get-
error in you saying that.
Yeah, like I said, all over the place, and St Mirren had 2 or 3 chances to get that shot away. So therefore,
Yeah.
we should have 2 or 3 chances to
To
block
defend
it
it,
or
yeah.
do better and defend it better. But we just don't. I'm watching it back literally as we speak. And it doesn't make for great reading because Joe Neal looks left on his own in the middle of the park. And they kind of just play around him, get a shot away. Will Fish doesn't know whether to come out and make an attempt or obviously leave that gap if he does come out. And they get that goal. So overall, very, very poor goal to concede. Like we said, other than despair, what's your overriding feeling at the end of that match?
I don't know. Being fed up of drawing 2-2, drawing from losing positions. But I mean, like, I feel like I've just had everything knocked out of me from watching that. And the worst thing about it was I wasn't even surprised. I wasn't shocked. I was waiting for it to happen. So, nah, it's a sore one to take. But that's not. I feel like we're saying this more often than not these weeks. But we just kind of need to take it on the chin and move on, and hopefully we can come back with a win on Saturday.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is, to be fair, it's a tough place to go. I would have, like I said the other day.
I mean, and they are flying at the moment as well,
Yeah.
Sean. So
I would have took a draw pre-match.
I think a lot of people, a lot of teams will go there this season, play better and get worse results. So
it's just tough to take. And especially
it's tough to
after
take.
what's
I
happened
mean,
at the weekend.
Exactly, and considering how good a record has been up there for recent years, we usually have their number when we go to Love Street. So it's frustrating.
St Mirren Park.
Is that what it's called now? I didn't care what it was called. I've always just called it Love Street. That's old school, mate. Eh? Old school. Did you ever go to Love Street when it was Love Street?
Aye.
Yeah, I went a few times as well. Shithole, eh?
The whole place is, mate. The whole place is. I would like to say, and moving on, but that's obviously what all our listener questions are going to be. So we'll just dive straight into that, Liam.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
So we got obviously a little bit, well, not necessarily a little bit ahead of ourselves because we put the tweet out pre-match just to anticipate what potentially was or wasn't going to go wrong. So we'll just fire through them and in no particular order. So
Did John ask what we had for dinner?
He did. Don't you worry.
Oh, did he?
Don't you worry. Yeah. But let me cook. Let me cook, mate. It was in no particular order. However, that's where I was going with that. John did manage to squeeze in and asking us what's for dinner, but he did also go on and say that's all on the manager, which I would very briefly like to get your thoughts on after I hear what you have or have not had for dinner. And I know that you're not between shops because you went shopping
No.
on Monday because we were late to record.
Yeah, I'm not between shops. We've been to the shops. For dinner tonight we had it was these spicy chicken tenders and chips. It was just a nice and simple one tonight. A nice 200 degrees 20-minute dinner. But these chicken tenders, fucking hell. I mean, I thought I was all right with spicy, but Jesus Christ Almighty, they were spicy. I was actually thinking about you when I was eating them because I was like, oh, I wonder if Shaun would like these because I ken that you like all your Asian cuisine and that. But are you a big spice man?
I'm not a big spice man. Nah, not really.
Oh well,
Not really.
mate, my head was
I would
blown
have
off.
struggled. I would have
Mate,
struggled.
I'm going to be destroying the pan in the morning. I'll tell you that for nothing. So yeah, I mean it was a good tea, like, but yeah, maybe a wee bit too spicy for me. Put the rest in the bin.
I had spinach and ricotta ravioli, and it was
Oh,
tremendous, tremendous.
I do like a wee bit of spinach and ricotta ravioli.
Thoughts on John's comment, which seems to now be a reoccurring theme at the end of matches when Monty is. Do you know what? I'm going to say he's executed his game plan perfectly because he's clearly playing for 2-2 draws because they seem to continually keep happening.
He's very good.
What's your thoughts on a lot of people starting to necessarily blame Monty?
What was it that John said? It's all on the manager. I don't think it's all on the manager. I think a lot of it certainly has to. I mean, the buck has certainly got to stop with him. It's his style of play. It's his sort of loyalty to the way that he wants to play the game. I don't want to say stubbornness or inability to change because I don't think that's...
He's definitely doing that. He's definitely changing, and that maybe is what the issue is.
Yeah, and I think we just need to give him a bit of time, but it is, and I think if you ask Nick Montgomery right now, he would probably tell you the same, that the buck stops with him. But people coming out and having these ridiculous Monty out shouts and all the rest of it is not going to help the players. It's not going to help the coaching staff. It's not going to help anyone at the club. So if you want to do the best,
thankfully, I've not seen any of them, but that might be because we literally hit record as soon as the final whistle went, and maybe that's why we've not seen them.
Yeah.
Gav did, and again, just echoed some of the stuff that we've already said. Another frustration night. He also didn't manage to catch much of it, like yourself.
Must have been on the same stream as me.
And how frustrating is it that we can't seem to close out games, which obviously we've already touched on. For me, I don't know if anyone's mentioned this in the questions or anything yet, because we're going to fire through them quite quickly this evening. But we've dropped what I think is 6 points from winning positions, or 6 points in total.
The last 2 league games, anyway.
Yeah, 6 points from winning positions since Monty came in.
No, more than that. More than that. Tonight, Ross County, Kilmarnock.
So that's 4.
Monty's first game. Oh, we've dropped 6 points. I thought you meant we should have had her
from winning positions.
Ignore me. Ignore me. It's late, Sean.
It's all good. And I know it's all hypotheticals, but if we had held on and got those 3 points in those 3 games, we'd be sitting 4th. Or maybe even 3rd technically, because St Mirren are sitting on 19, and if we'd got 6, that would take us up to 18, so we'd be 3rd. But again, I don't want to get into these hypotheticals because I run away with them too much. Paul Mackay asked, how pissed off did the ref look when he had to give Hibs the second goal? Yeah. To be fair, the offside or potential offside, it did look very, very close, but it was the St Mirren player's knee that was playing him on, so it was a little bit clearer than Martin Boyle's one. But yeah, the officials ain't doing us any favours at the moment.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and without trying to sound like a Celtic fan, I think a lot of people in Scottish football have kind of had it in for Hibs the last few years. I think since we got rid of Jack Ross, I don't think a lot of people in the media, and I mean, I don't think the referees have ever particularly favoured any team. You could ask any fan in the league. I think the referees favour your team and they'll all go nut. But I genuinely do think like the media definitely have had it in for us since we got rid of Jack Ross, and I think they maybe need to stop being so nasty.
Billy asks, or did ask, and I wonder what his opinion on this would be now, considering Miller's performance when he came on. But is hooking Miller and then benching him the next game after his error at the weekend good management or poor management in his eyes? And I've seen this question come in. I'm quite curious to see your answer. I actually thought it was great management because Miller gives the impression that if he gets dropped after a error that he knows he's made, it gives him a little bit of fire in the belly. But tonight it seems like he maybe had a little bit too much. I don't want to sound like I'm digging him out, but it just seemed like he was maybe too raring to go when he came on.
Did you hear that butt from him?
No, I did not. No.
Did you not?
Nah.
That was a good one. I seen this one and I was thinking about it, and I think it all just kind of depended on what we saw from Lewis when if he came on, and we obviously seen him come on looking like he had a point to prove. So I think it's good management. Lewis looks like he's one of those players who would benefit from a change like that, rather than a different player. I mean, I don't know the players' personalities, but there's players who would benefit from something like that. But then there was players who would benefit from an arm around the shoulder and saying, "Oh, listen, you're the best player in the team. I'm going to keep you in. Just keep doing what you're doing and stuff." So I think it needs to go on a player by player basis. I don't think he would be able to do that for every player, because one, I don't think we've got the personnel to change an entire 11, and two, I don't think not every player works that way. Not every player is wired the same. So yeah, it's it seems to me like good man management, and that's all that we've heard really about Monty. Is he's a great man manager. I mean, Lewis told us himself that he learnt a lot from Monty. So yeah, listen, it's one of them things, mate.
Correct. Michael said, so second in, but we were clearly the better team for most of the match. A silly run and a slip that cost us 2 points away to the third best team in the league. And he pretty much kind of sums it up as well, because I do feel like we were the stronger side.
Well, I mean, if games were won and lost on that, then we would be third in the league and we'd be in a cup final.
Yeah. Lewis Chapman asks where we think Chris Cadden would fit into the squad once he's returned to full fitness, which full fitness and match fitness is probably a bit different, so there's probably still a bit of time to come. But given Miller's recent form, I don't know where you see him maybe fitting in. I think Monty might try and allow one to be right mid, one to be right back, and they can alternate and switch. But then I think that might see us playing like an Elie Yuan or a Martin Boyle up top with Venti instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Monty will be giving him a chance when he's back, and when he's fit to play. So I think we can expect to see Chris Cadden included. I don't think Cads is our best option at right back in a back four, to be honest with you. I think he's better going forward than he is at defending. So we might see him, playing in a more advanced role, like in the right of a midfield four, or maybe even at the top if he goes to a 4-3-3 at any point, maybe at right wing. So Cads is a great option to have, because I think he's very versatile down that right hand side. And if Cads is back and is pushing Lewis Miller, then Lewis Miller will perform well. And if Lewis Miller's pushing Cads, then Cads will perform well. I mean, I ken that Rory Whittaker's here, but chances are he's not going to be playing every single game this season. 16-year-old laddie, like he'll not be built for it. So I think the sooner Cads is back and we've got that option, it just gives us another string to our bow, really, and it gives us another chance to change things up and see if we can actually win a game of football.
What you mean? We're not meant to just draw every game 2-2 and go the rest of the season unbeaten, no?
Someone better tell Nick Montgomery. I mean, you'd be happy with that, eh? That's how Arsenal won the league that time. They just drew every game, did they not?
12 draws or something like that, and 0
That's
defeats. That's
embarrassing.
not bad, that, eh? Not bad.
That was like us in the championship.
It was as gold. Harvey Scott, does Nick Montgomery know anything about game management? Same shite, different week, sick to death. So,
I would say he knows an awful lot about game management. He knows exactly.
Whether it's positive or negative, he knows a lot about what to do or not to do.
Mate, I think he knows exactly what to do to get the game to finish 2-2. I think that's his biggest strength. No, and in all honesty, he's getting used to the game. He's getting used to it's a different style from the A-League. It's a different style from what he was playing in the English Championship and Premier League. So I think he needs to get to grips a little bit more with the game. And yeah, I don't know. I can see where the positives are coming from, but there's also a lot of negatives. So
Clear negatives as
I'm
well.
trying my hardest to stay positive. And
I think a lot of the support will remain positive.
Oh, I'm behind him. I'm a million
Oh
percent.
no, of course I'm not insinuating anything like that at all. But what I mean is, I think the vast majority of the support understand the position we're in with our squad and where we're at and what Monty's trying to do, and that he maybe just needs 2 or 3 at the moment. I think he needs 5 or 6 total, but maybe in January 2 or 3 strong loans, maybe short-term options to see us through to January, and just to try and bring in players that suit it. But another right back.
I'll take it.
Because he certainly can't play centre half, that's for sure.
Nathan Wood, get him in.
Keith Robertson, can we see a major clear out in January if Monty keeps giving everyone a fair crack of the whip and we're still not able to win games? And I mentioned this 1 or 2 episodes ago about Monty giving people the chance to see what we've got. So then he now, once January comes, he knows what he's got and what he's not got, so we can identify the right area. Yeah, and we can identify the right areas to recruit, albeit it could be short term or not. Home of Hibs, can we sack them all and play the Bairns? Well, Monty's certainly trying to play some of them, so we've got to give him some kind of credit for that, don't we? Now, the last, at the moment anyway, since we are recording directly after the match, the last question that's came in pre-recording, and I've left this one till the end on Twitter, not Instagram. Nige came in on Instagram, so I'll come over to that in a sec. Albert Street, what is the better feeling? Emptying a very full bladder or blood going back into your arm when you've woken up after falling asleep on it? Now, I don't know about you, Liam, and I'll just give you a second to actually think about your answer for this. Both these things happen to me far too often. Far too often.
Maybe go and seek medical help.
Well, I don't know what I can do to help the latter one, but the first one is definitely all on me because that's by choice. That I'm just allowing my bladder to get ridiculously full. So speaking of so much experience that I have of both events taking place in my life, I'm going to go with the first one.
Yeah, I think I would need to go with the first one as well. Especially, see when it's like, I don't think, I mean, you'll know Ken this, but when you've like been having a baby, right? And like if you're stuck on like a bus that's no got any toilets, or like you're in a car or something, and your bladder is that full that it's painful to stand up, and then you piss after that, the relief that you get is amazing. So I would probably go for that. But I mean, see the arm one, right? I don't feel like the blood going back into your arm is worth it. I hate it when my
As in,
arms
you
are
want your arm to just not have blood in it.
No. Like I hate that feeling, like of my arm going all numb and stuff. So the relief of the blood going back into my arm doesn't outweigh how much I hate my arm being like that in the first place.
Can I safely assume that it only happens to you when you're sleeping and you wake up in the middle of the night?
Not the middle of the night, usually in the morning.
Right, okay. Yeah, it only happens to me in the middle of the night. I'll wake up and then I'll be like this. Or
You need to move your arm with your
listeners are
other
going, I'm
arm.
like that. Just trying to like move it about and that, and Chloe's like, what the fuck are
And
you
you're
doing?
like, you've never realised how heavy your arm
Oh.
actually is.
It's a joke, absolute joke. Just reminds me how much I need to go back to the gym.
Gains me. I mean, it's obviously,
right.
it's either you're not strong enough to lift your own arm, or your arm is that swole that it's just too heavy to lift.
There we go. So what you're saying is my arms are huge and I'm massive. Thanks, Liam. I'll take that. Take it.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So Nige over on Instagram again, folks. Get involved on Instagram.
Is this a
our
knee-jerk
Instagram
reaction
page.
from Nige again?
I've not read it yet. But yeah, reading the first thing I'm going to say, yeah. But yeah, our Instagram is certainly a lot more of a happier place than Twitter, and yeah, so just get involved in our Instagram page because it's a lot more cheerier than most things going on at the moment. Nigel's thoughts for the ramble. This what he's titled it. We Hibsed it. Right, Tommy, maybe asked you, son. When will we learn? 2 points thrown away again.
Is that what you think, wee filly?
Tommy has had a greater input than Mark and Craig combined for weeks.
But I tell you what, he enjoyed the game this evening. When we scored the second goal, I was up and dancing and singing about, flinging my arms about, and he was pissing himself laughing. He was pissing himself, but it looks like he's away to go and fall asleep now.
Yeah, so as I was saying, Thomas, thank you very much. Nige said, when will we learn? 2 points thrown away again. I can already feel the daggers coming out. We have a real mentality issue when we concede. Well, it's Hibs, mate. We've got a real mentality issue, full stop. But yeah, I agree, Nige. Sorry, I was really threw myself off there. Mentality issue when we concede, and we seem to convince ourselves that we will throw the game away. It's frustrating because we can see how Monty wants to play, but we're the masters of our own downfall. We can't continue to draw games in such a tight league, or we'll quickly find ourselves languishing near the bottom. Sooner we get rid of the dead wood, the better. So, all in all, can't really disagree with much of what he said there. So yeah, Nige, appreciate getting that in. What's your thoughts on that before we quickly close on what was all in all a tough night in Paisley?
No, I agree. I think that there is dead wood that we need to get rid of, but I don't think that we can afford a full clear out like we saw last January. Because we need the players, really. We need to have the options, and if they aren't good enough, then fair enough. But we need the bodies in. We need the senior bodies in, I think. But we just need more. We need more and more and more. We kind of need to do a Craig Levine at Hearts and just kind of sign anyone who wants to come and play with us. Because surely one of them's going to be all right.
Yeah, well, we've got, I think that now takes us down to the joint worst defence in the league as well. As we mentioned already, too many individual errors are what seems to be killing us on a consistent basis. And hopefully Nick Montgomery will be able to maybe turn one of these 2-2 draws into a 1-1 draw.
3-2 win.
Or a 3-3. Who knows?
These were the games that were promised under Lee Johnson, remember? When he was like, oh,
all I'll do is attack. And
all out attack and all that. So this is what we're getting
opposite.
under Monty.
Quickly looking forward to the weekend, Liam. Kilmarnock at home. Now, Kilmarnock, second worst team away from home in the league at the moment. And we are the 8th best team at home, so I don't really know what there is to really read into that, if I'm honest. All I know is that it's going to be 2-2. Kilmarnock sitting 4th though, 16 points. Very,
How have
very.
they managed that? Eh?
The same way Dundee have managed to pick up as many points as they have and sit in 6th. Mental what's going on. But again, it's still, I don't want to sit here and say it's tight, because the longer we keep saying that, the less likely it's going to remain tight. And like Nige says, we could be languishing towards the bottom half. So
we need to start taking advantage of how tight it is.
Yeah, well, you've done that in the past, and look at you now, 2 kids later. Sorry, Megan. I've got a lot of respect for Megan. I've got no respect
She
for
doesn't
Liam.
listen anyway. I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, Killie, very, very inconsistent though. Stronger at home rather than away from home. They got beat by St Johnstone away at their last away trip. And their last away game before that was Celtic, which they lost as well. The only wins that they have picked up in the last 5 have all been at home. So do you think that's something we can maybe take advantage of, Liam?
No.
Okay, thanks. See you later.
I think exactly the same as you. I think it's going to be 2-2.
What do you think going into what again at the moment seems to be game after game? It's a huge game after huge game after huge game. Where do you think the players' mentality is going to be at after the week after Ross County, and then Aberdeen, and then tonight? Where I know where your mindset would be at because you're a weak individual, but where do you think the footballers' minds will be at going into the weekend's match?
I mean, if you think about it this way, right? Yeah, we got beat on Saturday, but we've picked up a point tonight against a team that's third in the league. So if you're a Hibs player or you're a Monty, you need to take the positives from that, and I think they will. We seem to look at the positives from Saturday, and we came out tonight, and I felt like we played all right, barring a couple of mishaps and stuff. So listen, I think the players have got a half decent mentality under Nick Montgomery, and under no illusions that we will come out and blow another 2-goal lead on Saturday.
Yeah, so Liam, just to kind of close us off on the whole episode, and again, thanks to everyone for listening. We really, really appreciate it as always, especially after the last couple of weeks that we've had in regards to the tough results. But how do you see us lining up? And I don't necessarily mean by formation, Liam. I mean more about personnel, considering the changes that Monty made tonight. And to be fair, Jair, Whittaker, Campbell, all good accounts of themselves. But then the likes of Obita, played 390 minutes in a week. You've got Newell. The centre-half pairing isn't necessarily a concern for me because then you've got Hanlon to obviously come in, which I don't think will happen. But when you've got Levitt playing relatively well, Diego coming back, we don't necessarily know where Martin Boyle is going to be at in regards to 100% fitness. How do you see certain personnel lining up?
It's a bit of a tombola, to be honest with you, Sean. I think he will make more changes on Saturday than he did for tonight because, like you said, Levitt will beat they've put a lot in. Maybe, even Eli Yuan, they've put a lot into the last week. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some of them getting a well-needed rest. So, I would expect to see a very different team on Saturday than what we saw this evening.
So I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction to finish because
2-2.
Everyone thinks it's going to be 2-2. I'll go 2 Hibs goals and I'll go 2 Kilmarnock goals. However, it'll be 2 own goals. So it'll be 4-0 Hibs.
I hope so.
And
Maybe that'll be the way that we cheat the system.
Monty needs to learn somehow. That's for sure.
Mate, all he needs to do is tell them, listen, you can have a 2-2. Both teams can score 2 goals. Just make sure it's all in the one net.
And on that, we'll wrap us up. Episode 66 of the Hibs Ramble. Thanks again, everyone, for listening. Much love to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. And let's all look forward to a 2-2 on Saturday. Let's go. I'm on the Hibs.
And we'll see you on Monday to talk about
it. Cheers.
See you in a bit. Bye-bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.